Good afternoon, students. Today we'll start a new chapter. We already studied about hydrogen, isn't it? So today we'll start about another chapter that is nothing but S block element. So this is a new chapter, student. So this is a third chapter in inorganic chemistry. This is an inorganic chapter. So this is a third chapter in inorganic chemistry. Very important for 4 to 5 marks. 4 to 5 marks. Clear? 4 to 5 marks or around 6 marks, okay? Around 5 to 6. Around 5 to 6 marks. So now the question arises, what is S block element, isn't it? What are S block elements? See, S block element of the periodic table are those in which electron enters into last, that means enters into last shell, that is nothing but S orbital. See, electron enters into S orbital. So that's why, so those are known as S block element. Those are known as S block elements. See, here S block element are the elements of the periodic table where the electron and the outermost electron enters into S orbitals. Clear? So now the question, how many groups were there in a S block element? How many groups were present in a S block element? See, student, there are only two groups of S block element. See, there are only two groups of S block element. Two groups of S block element. What is the reason for this one? Why there are only two group of S block element? Why we can find only two groups of S block element? See, the answer for this one is the maximum capacity of S orbital. S orbital is 2 electron. So that's why we can find only two groups. Only two group, that is nothing but first group and second group of periodic table is known as S block element. Isn't it? First group element and second group elements are known as S block element because the maximum capacity of S orbital is only 2 electron. Is it clear? Is it clear? So next one, what is its general electronic configuration? What is the general electronic configuration of S block element, student? Yeah. High electropositive nature is also reason, but we are talking about S block. So that's why S block elements are those in which electron enters into last shell, okay? So that is another property of S block element, but here we consider only about S block. Further, we'll study about electropositive nature, Akshit, okay? So now, what is next thing is, what is general electronic configuration? General electronic configuration of S block. So that is, see, if in case I'll consider lithium, it has 1s1. If in case, 2s1. If in case I'll consider sodium, that has 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, then 3s1. Isn't it? If in case I'll consider beryllium, it has a 2s2. Isn't it? If in case I'll consider magnesium, it has 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. Isn't it? So that means the general electronic configuration of S block element is, see, I'll consider N here. See, I'll consider noble gas. In a bracket and it will be NS122. So that is nothing but your electronic configuration of S block element. See, for example, lithium, it has a 2s1. For example, beryllium, it has a 2s2, isn't it? So that means from 1 to 2, it has an electronic configuration. So that's why general electronic configuration of S block element is NS122. Clear? So then we studied, that means there are two groups, isn't it? First group and second group. First group and second group. See, student, if in case I have to consider first group element, what first group elements are known as? First group element also known as, any idea, student? First group elements are also called as, yes, alkali metals. Very good. It also called as alkali metal. Any X metals, alkali metal, except which element? Except which element? First group elements are, yes, that is hydrogen. Hydrogen is a first group element, but it is not a alkali metal. It is not a alkali metal. Remember this point. It is a first group element, but it is not a alkali metal. Remember, alkali metal, these are called as alkali metal, but hydrogen is not a alkali metal. So next one, why these elements are known as alkali metal? Why those are called as alkali metal? Why, student, any idea? Why S block, that in that first group elements are known as alkali metal? Why those are called as alkali metal? It is soluble in water. Yes, that is right. That means here, first group or alkali metal, I'll consider alkali metal reacts with water. Yeah, reacts with water. It reacts with water and forms what? See, whenever Na reacts with water, it forms NaOH, isn't it? What is NaOH? Sodium hydroxide. So that's why it forms hydroxide. It forms hydroxide, which are highly basic in nature. Hydroxide, which are highly basic in nature. Highly basic. Basic is also known as alkaline. Basic, alkaline nature. Basic nature. Is it clear? So these, see, basic, alkaline means basic nature. So alkali metal reacts with water and it forms hydroxide, and those hydroxides are alkaline in nature. So that's why we call it as alkali metal. Clear? Example for alkali metal, student: lithium, potassium, sodium, rubidium, cesium. So these all are nothing but your first group elements, which are called as alkali metal. Isn't it? So now I'll go for this one. What second groups are known as? Second group element are also known as. Second group elements are also known as alkaline earth metal. So this is also known as alkaline earth metal. Very good. Alkaline earth metal. What do you mean by alkaline earth metal? See, here also there is an exception, that is except which one? Which metal? Those are known as alkali metal. Except which? Yes. Except which element or metal? Any idea, student? You know about this one, but I think you don't know. I'll just tell you. Beryllium. Except beryllium, all are known as alkaline earth metal. I'll explain you a reason for this. Say, now the question, what is alkaline earth metal? What do you mean by alkaline earth metal? Any idea, student? Same. Here, see, alkaline earth metal, second group elements are known as alkaline earth metal because their oxides and hydroxides, their oxide and hydroxides are basic in nature, are alkaline in nature, This is the answer for this one, alkaline. Next comes earth metal, isn't it? Next comes earth metal. And metal oxide is, and metal oxide is found in earth crust, found in earth crust. So that's why, so those are known as alkaline earth metal. See, students, very important definition it is. Why second group elements are alkaline earth metal? Why it is called as alkaline earth metal? Reason for this is that oxides and hydroxides are alkaline in nature, and the metal oxide, for example, beryllium oxide, don't consider beryllium oxide, but oxides, that means magnesium oxide, calcium oxide. So those will found in a earth crust. That's why we call it as alkaline earth metal. So now I already told beryllium is not considered as an alkaline earth metal because oxide and hydroxides of beryllium is amphoteric in nature. It is amphoteric in nature. So that means it can act both as acid and base. So that's why we don't call it as alkaline earth metal. Is this clear, student? Is this clear? See, alkali metal except hydrogen. And here alkali metal reacts with hydrogen water and it forms, yes, it forms hydroxide. That means highly basic in nature. And here it comes alkaline earth metal. Except beryllium, all are known as alkaline earth metal because their oxides and hydroxides are alkaline in nature. And metal oxide, this you have to write, student. Metal oxides are found in earth crust. So that's why those are known as alkaline earth metal. Alkaline earth metal. And the oxides of and hydroxides of beryllium is not considered as alkaline earth metal because those are amphoteric in nature. That means those are that can act as acid as well as base. Is this clear? Is this clear, student? See, these are some important introduction about S block element. Next, I'll continue. I'll continue. See, here, what is electronic configuration of first group element, student? Electronic configuration of first group element is NS1. You have to write noble gas with NS1. Noble gas with NS1. Isn't it? Lithium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, sodium, these all have NS1 configuration. But in this case, it has, see, second group it is NS2. It has NS2. Deepa, NS2. Clear? So now we'll write its element. See, what are first group elements, student? Just tell me which are first group element. Which are first group element? First one is hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and last one is francium. Isn't it? Isn't it, student? Hydrogen, lithium, but we don't consider hydrogen as an alkali metal. See, in this case, sodium and potassium are most abundant. In this group, these two are abundant. That means these occurs in a more amount. And other three, that is lithium, rubidium, and cesium. So these are less abundant. See, so these three are less abundant. Clear? And the last element, that is nothing but this one. Francium is radioactive element. Radioactive element. That means it will eliminate or it will evolve radioactive or radioactive. Clear? So here lifetime of francium is around, that is, we consider half-life. Okay, half-life of francium is only 21 minutes. Half-life of francium is 21 minutes. That means if in case you are considering 1 mole of francium, clear, to convert it into half mole, it needs only 21 minutes. Clear? So that means radioactive element, it will continuously radiate the radiations, isn't it? So that's why it readily, what happens? It will eliminate. Clear? So that's why half-life of francium is 21 minutes and it is highly radioactive element. See, sodium and potassium is also important for your biological activity. It is important for biological activity. Clear? Next comes in this case second group, that is nothing but second group element. What are second group elements, student? Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, And last one is radium. Isn't it? Namita, what happened? What you didn't understand? Namita? Okay, about half-life. Okay, see, half-life, see, I'll consider one francium, okay, francium, just imagine. Francium is a radioactive element. It will radiate the radiations, okay? So that means it will minimize itself to radiate, isn't it? So now see, we can't consider its whole life. That means we can consider, that means if in case if in case I'll consider 1 mole of francium. So convert it into half mole. See, equal half, isn't it? To convert it half moles, it needs 21 minutes. So that's why we call it as a radioactive element. It continuously radiates. It continuously radiates. That means it continuously eliminating its portion to environment, isn't it? So that means it is reducing. So that's why half-life, see, 1 mole of francium convert to half mole. 1 mole of francium to half mole of francium, it needs only 21 minutes. It needs only 21 minutes. That means it has a shortest time. See, if in case I'll consider this one or any carbon content. So we can't consider, during radiation, yes, it reduces, yes. See, carbon also has that means it also reduces, carbon also reduces, but its half-life is large. Years, okay? So million years, billion years. So that's why we can't count its half-life. That is very much high. See, for ancient things, to find its age, anything, whatever you find in a ancient time, you have to find its year, isn't it? Age. For that, we calculate half-life of carbon or lifetime of carbon. So that we'll study in the next year chapter, that's chemical kinetics, okay? But here just remember, whenever it radiates, it will reduce. It will minimize itself by eliminating, isn't it? In that case, what will happen? It take only 21 minutes to reduce, okay? Huh? So that means after 42 minutes, it will vanish. Okay. See, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium. So these are nothing but second group element. In that, it is fifth most abundant, and sixth most abundant element in a earth crust. Clear? Where beryllium is rare element. It is a rare element. And strontium and barium has a lower abundant. It has a less abundant. See, we are comparing it with groups, okay? That group element. And see, radium is a radioactive element. So this is also a radioactive element. So this is also a radioactive element. Is this clear, student? Is this clear about general things about S block element? Is this clear? Huh? So just see about abundance. It is not compulsory to remember, okay? Huh? But these characters you have to remember. Is it clear? If it is clear, I'll move for next one. Who is Pratham? Student, who is Pratham? Who is Pratham? Okay, half-life of radium is, I'll write. Half-life of radium is 1602 years. And it is most stable isotope. Rakshit, it is most stable isotope. See, where is 21 minutes and where is 1602 years? So that's why I told it has a Years of, is it clear? Is it clear, Akshit? Okay, I'll move for next one. So that is general characteristic or general properties of first group element. Next one, next important one. General properties of first group element. First group element. In that first one is electronic configuration. First one is electronic configuration. So you've already studied about configuration, isn't it? It has a configuration of noble gas with NS1. Say if in case I'll consider lithium, it has a 2s1. If in case I'll consider sodium, it has 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 and 3s1. Isn't it? So that means the outermost electronic configuration like that. So now I'll consider sodium, student. I'll consider sodium. See, I'll just write, this is the electronic configuration of sodium, okay? So now I'll consider just a brief idea for this. Here, I'll consider 3 shells because there were 3 shells. First shell, second shell, and third shell. Isn't it? So, in a first shell, how many electrons were there? In a first shell, there were only 2 electrons. See, I'll just take it as a cross mark. But in second shell, there are almost 8 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Isn't it? And the outermost electron has only 1 electron. Outermost electron has only 1 electron. And here it has a nucleus. Isn't it? Which is composed with neutron and proton. So now students, see, just imagine one thing. In a first group, only 2 electrons were present, isn't it? But in a second group, there were 8 electrons. See, in a second group, there were 8 electrons. There are 8 electrons, isn't it? So now, this is a highly stable state, isn't it? So this one is stable state with the 8 electron, octet, isn't it? It is an octet state. So that means by the presence of these electrons, so this second shell acts as a shield. It acts as a shield or screen in between nucleus and electron. See, nucleus is here and there is electron. And here there will be one shield of second orbital, which is of 8 electron. Just imagine. So now what will happen? The effective nuclear charge is more from here to here, isn't it? But after this, the shielding effect will reduce. Isn't it? Sorry, effective nuclear charge will reduce. Isn't it? Just imagine, student, just imagine. See, effective nuclear charge, if there is no shield in between, then effective nuclear charge is more. But in this case, there is a shield in between, isn't it? There is a shield or screen in between nucleus and electron. So that's why from here to here, it has a more effective nuclear charge, but after this, it will reduce. Isn't it? So now my question, removal of electron from sodium is easier or it is difficult? The removal of electron is easier or difficult in case of sodium? Student, just reply. We can easily remove the electron or it is very difficult to remove electron. Any idea? Easier, difficult? Just tell me in this case, in a second case I'm talking. So there is a shield between these two, effective nuclear charge. So this is effective nuclear charge. Yes, it is difficult. How it is difficult? Rakshit, how it is difficult? See, if there is more effective nuclear charge, in that case, it is tightly bound. So that means we cannot remove the electron. If there is more effective nuclear charge, the bond is strong. Clear? But in this case, there is a shield, isn't it? So that's why effective nuclear charge will reduce. Yeah, shield controls the bond. That means shield is here. For this electron, there is a shield. For this electron, this is a shield. See, this one is shield and this electron is outside the shield. This electron is outside the shield. See, just imagine you are standing here and there is one big compound. There is one big compound, and in another portion of that compound, there will be some person. So now just tell me how you can find a bond between nucleus and electron. Yes, yes, yes. Shield reduces the power of effective nuclear charge. It will reduce, it will block, isn't it? It will block. So that's why removal of electron is easier. Removal of electron is easier. So that's why we write sodium will lose one electron and it will form a cation. Isn't it? Removal of electron is easier in case of first group element because the outermost electron is present outside the inner noble gas core or noble core. Inner noble core. Clear? Noble gas core is nothing but this one, NS2 NP6 form. This is nothing but noble gas. So it is outside the noble gas core. So that's why removal of electron is easier. So that's why, see, I'll write here. That's why they lose electron easily. That's why they lose electron easily and forms monovalent ion. Monovalent ion. What do you mean by monovalent ion? See, +1 ion, isn't it? +1 ion. If in case I'll consider potassium, it also +1. If in case I'll consider rubidium, +1. Cesium is +1. Those are monovalent ions. Clear? So next one, it is most electropositive. What do you mean by electropositivity? It is most electropositive. Why? Why it is most electropositive, students? See, because it can easily donate electrons. So that's why it is more electropositive. If it gains electron, it is electronegative. But here, sodium can easily remove an electron or it can easily give an electron. So that's why it is most electropositive. Clear? And next point is, due to this nature, due to electropositive nature, so these are highly reactive. These are highly reactive. Very important point it is. These are highly reactive. So that means sodium. We know sodium is preserved in kerosene, isn't it? Because it is highly reactive. So sodium is, or these are highly reactive elements. And the last point is, that's why they never found in. That's why these are highly reactive. That's why they are never found in a free state. Never found in free state. That means they always in a combined state. There will be in a combined state. Is this clear, student, about electronic configuration? With this electronic configuration, we can explain these properties of first group element. That is, they can easily lose electron and form some monovalent ion. And it is most electropositive. These are highly reactive. And last one, that's why they are never found in a free state. That means those are always in a combined state. Is it clear, student? Is this clear? If it is clear, then I'll move for second property of first group element. See, second property, so that is nothing but ionization and, sorry, atomic radii. Atomic radii and ionic radii. Atomic and ionic radii. Atomic and ionic radii. Student, just tell me, in a periodic table, which group element have a large size? In a periodic table, which group element has a large size? Or else leave, I'll ask another question. In a periodic table, along a group, atomic size increases or decreases. Down the group, atomic size increases or decreases. Just tell me. Student, just reply. In a periodic table, along a period and down the group, along a period and down the group, atomic size increases or decreases? Decreases along a period. Decreases along a period, decreases along a, sorry, down the group, it increases. Down the group, it increases. Very good, right answer. But what is the reason? What is the reason why atomic size decreases from left to right in a periodic table? Why, student? Is there any idea why it will be like that? Yes, because electrons enters into a same shell. Enters into same shell. So that's why effective nuclear charge, see, effective nuclear charge also increases. Nuclear charge increases. Isn't it? Very good, very good. So these two are reason for this one. So now what is the thing for this one? Why atomic size increases? Why? Yes, for in this case, electrons were enters into new shell. But second one is very important. So effective nuclear charge also increases. Effective nuclear charge also increases in both the case. But why its atomic size increases, but in this case atomic size decreases? Because see, atomic size predominates over effective nuclear charge. So that's why the atomic size increases. See, effective nuclear charge increases means it will shrink. If in case atomic size increases means it will, yes, expand. So that's why, see, in this case, atomic size is more than effective nuclear charge. So that's why. So now I'll come to first question. In periodic table, which group element has a large size? Which group element has a large atomic radii? Any idea? See, from here to here it will increases, sorry, decreases. Which group has a high? Yeah, first group. So I'll just remove this and I'll write here. Yes. Atomic size of first group elements are larger than, yes, larger than other element in same period. Element in a same period. See, if in case I'll consider this period, in that case, sodium will be here, magnesium will be here. After that, there will be aluminum, isn't it? So if in case we compare the atomic size, sodium has a big atomic size, isn't it? Large atomic size. So that is the first key. Second one, now tell me, with increase in atomic number, atomic radii increases or decreases? With increase in atomic number, atomic radii increases or decreases, student? With increase in atomic number, yes, atomic size or atomic radii increases, isn't it? So now tell me, down the group, what will happen? Down the group, atomic size increases. Down the group, atomic size increases. That means atomic radii decreases. Atomic radii increases. Is this clear? So next one. So now I'll compare size of cation and neutral atom. See, I'll consider monovalent ion with its parent atom. For example, I'll consider Na plus ion with Na. Parent ion Na and its ion is Na plus. So now in this case, which one has a large size? Which one has a larger size? See, again, I'll consider that itself. Clear? In this case, see, now in this case, electron was removed. Which one has a small size? Francis, you written both. Which one has small size? Yes. Sodium ion has a smaller size than Na. Na plus has a smaller size than Na. See, if I remove this, in that case, this orbital we consider is a nil. That means there will be something, it will reduce. It will reduce. Yes, sodium ion, Na plus ion. Is this clear? Is this clear? And down the group it will increase. See, atomic size of first group element is larger when we compare it with other element of a same period. Second one, with increase in atomic number, atomic size also increases. Next one, down the group atomic size increases and atomic radii also increases. And here monovalent ion is less than, that means size of, right here it is a size of monovalent ion is smaller than parent ion. Is this clear? Is it clear about atomic radii, student? So next one, third property is ionization enthalpy. Third one is ionization enthalpy. What do you mean by ionization enthalpy? What do you mean by ionization enthalpy? Yes, energy required to remove outermost electron from the gaseous atom, isn't it? Energy required to remove outermost electron from the gaseous atom. That is very important. It must be a gaseous atom. Gaseous atom, electron, energy required to remove outermost electron from gaseous ion. So now just tell me, for first group element, it needs large amount of energy to lose one electron, or it needs only less amount of energy to lose an electron. Just tell me, ionization enthalpy of first group element, low or high? Yes, it needs less amount of energy. Why? Because already told you, there is one inner core, isn't it? And electron is outside that core. It will form a shielding. So that's why effective nuclear charge will decreases. So that's why it needs low ionization enthalpy. First group element has low ionization enthalpy. So now the question, yes, electron removal is easier, so that's why it needs minimum amount of energy. So now next question is, down the group, what will be the trend? What will be the trend of ionization enthalpy down the group? See, down the group, tell me. First one, lithium it is. Next one, sodium it is. Don't draw this, okay? Don't draw this. So next one, it is potassium. It is potassium. See, there is a distance, this distance and this distance. And just tell me, in case of lithium or sodium or potassium, in which case removal of electron is easier? In lithium or sodium or potassium, in which case removal of electron is easier, or which has a low ionization enthalpy? From lithium we can remove easily. From lithium we can remove electron easily. Consider anyone. Which one has a low ionization enthalpy, or from which we can easily remove electron? Any one answer? Namita, which answer? So ionization enthalpy is energy required to remove electron, isn't it? Energy required to remove electron. Rakshit. See, if electron present nearer to nucleus, there will be more bonding, isn't it? There will be more. In lithium requires less energy. How? See, there is a nucleus. After that, there will be only two. But after nucleus, there were three. One, two, three, four. And in this case, after nucleus, there were three shells. Again, bond shielded here. Here also, this one is shielded. In this case, this one is shielded. So now tell. What is the use of what? Namita, what was the question? Yeah, there will be shield. But we are studying the trend, isn't it? We are studying about trends. Down the group, what will happen? If question arise, down the group, ionization enthalpy. What is the trend down the group? What will be the observation? Ionization enthalpy decreases or increases? In that case, what you'll answer? Namita? For that we have to study, isn't it? Yes, yes. Down the group, ionization enthalpy decreases. See, I'll write here. Down the group, ionization enthalpy decreases because of large size. Because of large size. See, as size increases, the distance between nucleus and electron also increases. In that case, the attraction force decreases. That means we can easily remove electron. That's why we have to consider trends, okay? In case of potassium, it is easily removed. In case of sodium, when we compare potassium and sodium, potassium has a less energy than that of sodium. Less ionization enthalpy than that of sodium. Is it clear? Is it clear? Second point. Second point is down the group ionization enthalpy decreases because of large size. Because of large size. Is it clear? Is it clear? Is it clear? So this is about third point. This is about third point. Next, I'll move for fourth one. Fourth one, very important one, that is hydration enthalpy. Hydration enthalpy. Hydration enthalpy. What is hydration enthalpy, student? Any guesses? What is hydration enthalpy? What is hydration enthalpy? What is hydration? What is hydration? I already mentioned this, hydration and hydrogenation. What is hydration? Addition of water. Very good. Addition of water is hydration. Yes, yes. So hydration enthalpy is nothing but, see, amount of energy released. Amount of energy released. When the amount of energy, yes, released when 1 mole of ion, when 1 mole of ion undergo hydration, 1 mole of ion undergo hydration. Hydration is nothing but addition of water, okay? So amount of energy released when 1 mole of ion undergo hydration is known as hydration enthalpy. See, student, remember one thing. So if you have small size atom, in that case, its effective nuclear charge is more. If you are considering large size atom, its atomic effective nuclear charge will decrease. That means if the distance between nucleus and electron increases, effective nuclear charge decreases. Clear? So that means if it has a small size, in that case, the binding energy between nucleus and electron is more. If it has a large size, the binding energy between nucleus and electron is very less. You have to remember this. You have to remember this point, okay? Now listen. We already told amount of energy released when 1 mole of ion undergo hydration. So that means you have to add water, and it must gain water. It must gain water, isn't it? So now listen. Hydration enthalpy depends on ionic size. Hydration enthalpy depends on its size. Clear? That's size. So that is ionization, that or hydration enthalpy is inversely proportional to size. Inversely proportional to size. See, if there is a small size atom, in that case, addition of water is more easy. So that means more number of water can added. If size of ion or atom is more, in that case, the less amount of water can be added. Clear? Again, reason for this is effective nuclear charge itself. If there is more effective nuclear charge, the tendency of attraction also increases, isn't it? If there is less effective nuclear charge, the attraction force reduces. So that's why the number of water molecules which are absorbed is also decreases. So remember this point. This is very important point. You have to remember that hydration enthalpy is inversely proportional to size of the atom or ion. So now tell me how it will increase. See, in case of lithium plus ion, it has, see, we used here ion. So that's why we have to consider ion. Lithium, then comes sodium, then potassium, then rubidium. In which system? Hydration enthalpy is more. Hydration enthalpy is more for which one? Lithium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. For which one it has a more hydration enthalpy? Yes, for lithium because of small size. Because of small size. Because of small size. So that's why almost all salts of lithium is in the form of hydrated salts. What do you mean by hydrated salt? We already studied. If there is presence of water molecule, it is known as hydrated salt. Is it clear? So lithium has a maximum degree of hydration because of its small size. Clear? So that's almost all salts of lithium is hydrated salt. For example, lithium chloride dot 2H2O. We write in this way. Lithium chloride with dot 2H2O. So this is nothing but your hydrated lithium. Is it clear? See, hydrated lithium. And down the group, what will happen? Down the group, it decreases. Down the group, it decreases. I'll write here. See, next point I'll write here. Down the group, hydration enthalpy increases or decreases? Decreases. Is it clear? So that means less number of water molecules were added. So that's why less amount of energy is released. So that's why down the group hydration enthalpy decreases. Is this clear, student? Is this clear about all these things? Huh? So these are general property. After that, there will be some physical property. After that, there will be some chemical property. About that, we'll study in next class. Okay? Huh? Study well for exam. Okay? So we'll end this session now. In tomorrow's class, we'll study about physical property and chemical property. Okay? Take care. Thank you.